So welcome back, everybody. So apologies for the technical difficulties, but we are going to get back underway here in Melbourne. A 50% race, as we did not complete 25% of the race before the disconnects. And from what we saw, it was quite an engaging race. If my timing tower didn't glitch out every 2 seconds, very fine margins between the drivers. And it just gives them a rerun, and I'm sure they learnt a lot in those 6 laps as to how they're going to manage this race now.
Yeah, I mean, full reset, quality order, so actually straight back into it. And it gives the AMS driver a bit of a second chance.
Yeah, let's see if he loses the lead this time around, because they did a pretty good job of maintaining the lead once they got it, the Red Bull. So let's see if something similar happens now. But I assume all the grids start on mediums again. I don't know if anyone's going to try something different this time, but Kill doing a very good job early on, and UFRT's also right in the mix. And hopefully is incident free, unlike we had it on lap 1 last time, where the Ferrari span at turn 4. But we should get going. We've given them a bit less time to get their setups and strategies sorted, because they already know what they got to do now.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we are missing two drivers. See, two drivers that did not decide to join back. One of the AMS drivers and one of the VLX drivers, I believe that is as well. So, or the HYD drivers. But here we go.
But this time around, we are ready to get going for round 2 of EFES. Here in Melbourne, we are away, and this time is with a better start for the Alpine of Andy, and he goes to cover off Kill behind, and he will go into turn 1 in the lead, and the Alpine clear ahead this time. The two UFRTs follow in behind, and there's a lot of contact at the back. I think there's a Haas spinning at the back. My timing tower is still glitched, sadly, but to make our way into turn 4, it is Andy with the lead. Kill follows behind. UFRT Boots is ahead of the two MGAs. Ryan's not had a good start, all the way down to P6. And behind they follow through. Boots in P3, holding off the two MGAs behind. But Kill wants that lead early on. It's a nice exit for the Red Bull out of turn 6. Burning on the battery he's got, but Andy does as well. And he just about holds on to the lead for now. He's being pushed around turn 8. To the outside he goes, and Kill, with the extra speed, does get the lead for the second time of asking. And the Red Bull does get up into P1. The two MGAs looking to fight back at Boots ahead, and Ryan Spencer looking to get back those positions as we head down towards turn 10. But it is Kill, as it was before, in the lead.
Yeah, as you mentioned at the start of this race, with drivers picking up damage, possibly, and a spin, we've got the two Haas cars, both with damage, and there was a slight half spin for one of the V cars as well. So hectic second start of this race, and it's been a very eventful evening, I can say that.
There's a torn penguin. Oh, and there's a spinner on the main straight. It's the Haas of Scorchy tumbling to the back. A disaster for Haas. Dead last for both of them. Also want to say Torn Penguin, who started P6 down to P16, so he's had a few issues early on. Meanwhile, Ryan splits for two MGAs as they go 3 wide, heading towards turn 4. Jocelyn just ahead. On the outside is Steve, just ahead of Ryan, who's trying to keep it on the outside. That's risky. He gives him the room, and that's still the outside for turn 6 now. And Steve will just about stay ahead. So as it goes, but Ryan wants that P5, so we make our way through the middle sector. And Andy also wants to lead the race back. He's coming at Kill, and can he get it to the outside? Or is he? No, he's just happy to stay behind. He's going to harvest his battery and go for a move later on. So Andy is content with holding P2 for now.
Yeah, Temek down in P14 was having a look at Chrisu for P13. He's thought better of it going into the far chicane, and probably going to sit behind for the rest of this lap.
So Andy did actually take the lead there, but Kill did not want to relinquish it. He went back down the inside and got the position. Meanwhile, the Bard Tsunami gets ahead of Ryan. Ryan was looking at Steve before, but he has to look in his mirrors as the Bard Tsunami for TDR up 4 positions and up to P6 in this race. As we have a look at tyres, only 2 runners in the whole field on the hards, Chrisu and Julian at the back, but Julian pitted early because of damage. So Chrisu, the only man who started on hards, down in P13. So it's all mediums for the top 12 as Timmy King gets ahead of Ricky as well. As our 2 leaders now swap positions again. Andy trying to get ahead this time, and it works out. Kill has to relinquish the lead as Ibarra Tsunami once again fights with Ryan Spencer, forces him off the track at turn 4, and Ibarra Tsunami just about holds on to P7, and now his teammate Tedhead will have a look at the UFRT.
Yeah, people starting to probably trying to settle into their rhythm now. So still getting battles every now and then. That's just the slingshot maneuvers of the battery usage. Once again, Ricky and Temex swapping places. Ricky down in P14, so I think he's had an awful start. He started up in P8, so already tumbling down the order. Maybe a bit of contact in the opening laps. There's a bit of argy-bargy going on behind him as well, but Ricky will be looking to try and make up as many places as he can.
Also, Gix is one of the gained a lot of positions in the race before, and he's carrying up where he left off as there's a collision, I think, at the back. I think the Audi of Temi King started last, has tumbled down to P18, but Gix up 6 positions, picking up where he left up in the last race. Alex also up 6 positions. Meanwhile, the MGAs continue to battle with the UFRTs, as does Steve want to get ahead of his teammates Jocelyn, as the Bard Tsunami's looking racy behind them two as well, and showing a lot more pace in this race than he did before for TDR. So he's starting to make the top 2 start to break away a little bit. Kill and Andy ready to do battle once again.
And yeah, Bard Tsunami obviously a bit of a horrid time for the first race start, but making the most of the second one. Already up to P6, ahead of Ryan Spencer, who has kind of dropped down a bit. Wait, what's happened there?
Kill has stumbled down to P4. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, whether he ran out of battery or it was a mistake. Kill goes from 2nd to P4. He looked like he was going to have a look at the lead, but all of a sudden, Boots and Jocelyn up to P2 and 3 there. I'm not sure what happened, but Kill, who was leading earlier on, is now away outside the podium.
Yeah, a bit of again, some drivers who started off before the restart very well is obviously now finding it a bit difficult.
So Andy seems like the one who's had the quietest race so far. He leads comfortably. Kill is trying to get back in the mix as Temi King becomes the first retirement of the race, as Mouth also gets a 10-second time penalty to add to RB's woes today. So Kill trying to get back up into position to get ahead of Jocelyn. He doesn't want to lose a place to the other MG of Steve behind. And they all follow through single file. I get the feeling Kill might be having a look at the Mercedes in front, although he really hasn't got much battery to play with. And he's already ran out, so Kill really struggling. Is he now going to come under pressure from Steve behind? Jocelyn takes P2, and it's double trouble for them because MGA have taken both of them. So 2nd and 4th for the Mercedes, and they are now looking like the favourite team in this race.
Yeah, but he's probably burnt a little bit too much battery as Kill was looking to go back around the outside. Obviously, again, battery games, Steve is just able to hold on.
Yeah, Kill really needs to start managing his battery better. It's costing him a lot of time. But all of this is allowing Andy to pull away. Andy dropping the overtake zone of Jocelyn behind, and that might leave the MGA a bit vulnerable to Boots and his teammate behind as we make our way down the main straight for the 6th time. Kill now coming under pressure from the Bard Tsunami in P6 as well. But they don't want to battle too much amongst themselves, because the more they battle, the more it'll just allow Andy to pull away and certify a win.
Yeah, Kill is really looking to try and get the moves done, try and get back up to that podium spot which he held for so long. But unfortunately, the failed overtake on Steve with the MGA cars means he's stuck behind for another section of lap, and without any battery as well, he's probably only going to drop back in further. The Bard Tsunami having a look as well now.
Yeah, Kill burning through the first sector, trying to get ahead of Steve, leaves him vulnerable to the Bard Tsunami, who has just had way more speed and battery to get ahead. And Kill's battery management is not on point, finding himself in the mid-pack. He was a lot more comfortable up at the front. It's not working for him. Kill goes from P2 down to P6, and now Ryan Spencer might start now to have a look at Kill. Both of them down 4 positions as Torn Penguin tries to make his way back up the order ahead of Alex behind, trying to get ahead of Chrisu in front. as Ricky starting to gain a bit more ground, and he'll have to try and catch the train in front if he wants to score any big points. As we finish lap 6, it's a Bard Tsunami now as there's a spinner in there. Steve spinning out the final corner. Disastrous error for the Mercedes. I don't know if he had a bit of help on his way, but the MGA, who are running in such a good position, loses one of their runners. Now he comes out behind Ricky in P12. Disaster for Steve, and that now leaves Jocelyn as the sole MGA up the front.
It's pretty heavy damage for Steve as well. Missing both sides of his wing. He's still got a plank of wood there pretty much, but those end plates are gone. He's going to be losing a lot of downforce and probably end up seeing him into the pits at the end of this lap as well.
It's the absolute worst place to get damage as well as you finish the pit lane, so he's got a whole lap now to limp round and get his car back to the pit lane. But as I said that, his teammate Jocelyn is having a bit more fortune reeling in Andy slowly and getting back in the overtake zone of the Alpine. Make our way through. Kill still struggling a bit as Ryan Spencer goes off the track, gets a penalty in the process. He was too eager to try and get ahead of Kill in front, and Ted trying to get in the mix. All of a sudden, TDR found them cars in 4th and 7th. This is a brilliant start to the race for them as they continue to battle behind the Tauron Penguin. Still behind Chrisu, who's battling with Steve Buffin, who's had a disastrous lap. And he's just ahead of Alex and Anton, but don't be surprised if we do see that Mercedes in the pit lane as now he gets overtaken by the Cadillac.
Yeah, Steve, I believe, is coming into the pits. Yeah, Steve into the pit lane. Schwarzbach gets a time penalty as well. See, very difficult race for Steve so far. He was right up there where the podium places and unfortunately has fell short after a mistake out the final corner, breaking his front wing. Now he's all the way down the order again.
So Andy stretching his legs a bit out the front, managed to burn a bit of battery and pull away from those behind. Bard Tsunami all of a sudden looks incredibly racy behind Boots. Kill just about keeping with him, and the 3 behind also. Gix and Zedix up 7 positions together. And Gix is on the back of this fight for the lead, so the Audi having a fantastic race down in P8 as we make our way around Sector 2. Jocelyn trying to get back in the overtake range of Andy, but it's just not quite working for him. Boots does have it, but I think he's just happy to sit behind. I think he knows that if they battle too much, the chance of a win will fall away. But 5 different teams in the top 5, so no team orders here. They are all battling out for the win before the first pit stops.
Yeah, I think Boots is just managing his batteries right now. See, with the overtake mode and more battery, he isn't really much threat from Bard Tsunami behind, and he is actually going to go for a move from Jocelyn. And he's going to keep the overtake mode as well because he's went past the detection behind him, so he's played that quite smart. And now he's going to have the overtake for the entirety of the lap and try and build a gap.
Sorry to interrupt, but Jocelyn putting Kill on the grass there. He got shoved wide by the Bard Tsunami. He took P3, and Kill trying to get by as well was put on the grass by nearly in the barrier by Jocelyn and just about holds P4. I'm not sure Red Bull will be too happy with that. It's Gix now up to P7. He's up 8 positions in this race. What a fantastic drive this is for Andy.
Ted had a massive snap right in front of Gix. Gix managed to avoid him and gain the place up to P7, but obviously I've known Ted a little while now, so it's a very uncharacteristic mistake for him. Obviously he is looking to get the move back, and he's going up the inside of Kill as well.
Oh, that's dicey, and it's a speed for Kill, who started on the front row, somehow keeps it in a straight line, and Kill tumbles down the order. Tedhead takes back P6, but it was contact down at turn 9. You can never go wheel to wheel through there. UFRT now all of a sudden find themselves 2nd and 4th, but the man who was leading at the first start comfortably now finds himself P12. He must be thinking, what luck do I have in this race? So Kill out of contention, and Andy still pulling away at the front as the lot continues to battle behind.
Yeah, Andy's just kind of taking it nice and easy. He's got no reason to push. He's got no reason to kind of go any much quicker than what he needs to do. He's got no risk behind him, so he kind of just ease into his pit stop and just kind of just lead from the front and run his own race.
UFRC and TDR really certifying themselves as contenders in this race. The Bard Tsunami has looked racy ever since lap 1 on this restart, and now he's in hot pursuit of Boots in front. Boots does not have the overtake, and now he's got no battery. So the Bard Tsunami homing in on the Aston Martin, and to the inside he goes. The Bar Tsunami takes P2 from 10th on the grid. What pace TDR showing in this next restart as the MGA of Jocelyn gets back ahead of Ryan for P4. Gix is also now up to P6, so up 9 positions for the Audi. This is astounding stuff for their outfit. And he can now try and have a look at the train in front of the Bar Tsunami. We'll see if it's his turn to try and catch Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of Gix on the 25 cars and stuff, and it's always pretty rapid. So I'm not really too surprised that he's kind of gaining the places now. He's kind of following off from where he left off originally.
So the first to pull the trigger is UFRT and MGA. They have got Jocelyn and Boots in the pit lane.
Oh,
that is quite early for hard tyres. Is something going on?
Commentator's curse. Gix has spun at the final corner and broken his front wing.
Gix, just like what Steve done, spinning at the final corner, and what was such a good race for him. If what you say is true, now with front wing damage, that's going to come. He has got front wing damage. Oh, I'm just going to stop talking now.
We were just picking him up. I was giving him a little segment on his adventures on the previous cars, and he's dropped out at the final corner when I was looking at drivers going through the pit lane.
And there's another spinner, Ricky, spinning at turn 6. And what is going on? The rear tyres seem to be dying left, right, and centre. 3 spinners in this race and 3 highly contested runners. Ricky tumbles now down to P12.
Wing damage as well for Ricky.
So disaster for all 3 of these guys. The Bar Tsunami has dropped Ryan behind. Andy is continuing to pull away from those behind, but are they going to respond to the pitters of Boots and Jocelyn? As Andy nearly drops it at turn 13. What is going on here in Melbourne? Everybody struggling to keep their cars in a straight line. The Bar Tsunami stays out. Andy is in. Ryan Spencer is in. Nearly everyone behind is in. But let's see where they come out in comparison to Boots and Jocelyn.
It'll be interesting to see, obviously, Boots and Jocelyn coming out the final corner.
So riding with Boots, he should see some cars peel out the pit, and there is your race leader, Andy. I think this is going to be a lot closer than it was before. Andy slower, and here now comes the Aston Martin. He was 3 seconds behind earlier, and now he takes in at lead of the race. Boots, but though, runs out of battery. Andy's got the advantage back down the inside. He goes at turn 3. Can he take the position? Boots, now with the outside, takes P5, and that is your net race lead. Andy, who was comfortable just 2 laps ago, now is right in the thick of it for the race lead once more.
But if you look at Andy's battery, he's managed to replenish all the way up to about 90% coming out of that corner there. So Boots is going to be a sitting duck.
And so has Jocelyn, so Boots might lose 2 positions here. Boots trying to hang on to it, but he's got no battery. Here comes Jocelyn as well. Wheel to wheel we go into turn 8. This could get risky, and Boots just about stay there, but once again on the next straight, he's looking vulnerable. And Boots trying to stay ahead, but to the outside goes Andy. He may be vulnerable, and he is, because Andy takes back P5, and now I'll have to look at his mirrors at Jocelyn as well.
Oh, Schwartzbach's gone, and that's a safety car.
Safety car. Who was that retired?
Schwartzbach, end of sector 1, start of sector 2. He's dropped it coming onto the long back straights for the entirety of sector 2. Put it in the wall.
So the Bar Tsunami had already passed the safety car line when it came out. Chrisu also. Andy takes P3 now. Torn Penguin and Lorenzo made it in time. But the Bar Tsunami is ahead of the safety car, and everybody will go past the safety car. So I think the Bar Tsunami may be able to take the lead of this race.
Very much of a possibility. The gap between Bar Tsunami and Andy, let me have a look at that now. It is 16 seconds.
I get the feeling that might be
so. We could see Bar Tsunami getting a bit of the luck of going longer with the safety car.
Well,
to then box in this lap.
He was the one who pulled the trigger on the safety car on the previous restart, and it might be working again here. Chrisu also, who, keep in mind, was dead last in the first race. He now could find himself right in the mix, and the cars that started 10th and 14th could find themselves possibly both on the podium.
It's going to be really difficult for Chrisu though, because he's starting on the hard tyres.
Oh, yes, true.
So obviously if he boxes now, he'll go onto the mediums, and he's got to try and stretch the mediums to the end of this race, which is
So-
going to be a little bit of a hard task to do.
He's pitting anyway, so he's got to try and manage those mediums. I've been astounded by Bart Tsunami's pace. He was going very quickly, and he managed to get those tyres a lap extra than everybody else. Coming down the pit lane, Andy's got to keep to the delta. Is it going to be enough? There is the Bart Tsunami, and the man who started 10th in this race, going that extra lap, has gotten him the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. TDR lead in Melbourne.
Yeah, Chris, who boxed onto a set of mediums, has come out in front of Rian Spencer in P5. So we could see the MS driver probably try and make a charge towards the front with these fresh mediums.
So all those cars who span, that gives them a chance to get back in the race, notably Steve, Ricky and Gix at the back. But Chrisu, he'll be one to watch on this restart. He's going to be rapid on those fresh mediums. The Bard Tsunami with 2 lap fresher tyres than Andy behind, 3 lap fresher than Boots and Jocelyn, and with the Leela race, you start to think this is TDR's to lose now.
Yeah, he's got the fresher tyres, but we know how quick Andy is. So Bartolino will be looking behind him, obviously without the overtake mode, because he's leading the race. We have to do a lot of defensive driving from not just Andy, but from Boots and Jocelyn as well.
Well, Andy's probably frustrated that Boots and Jocelyn were able to get back in the mix in the first place, but now he's going to be even more frustrated that he's lost the lead to the Bard Tsunami of all people. And Chrisu, he may find himself at the lead of the race soon, but surely you cannot make what will be 15 laps on mediums, can you?
I mean, it's going to be helped with the sense of the safety car, because you're running out a lot of slow speed, you're not picking up the tyre wear. Tyre temps are nice and cool, and they'll probably be cool for the first lap, so the wear will be down as well. It's still going to be a tough ask, but I believe after running some laps earlier today, tyre wear is quite manageable. And I believe I've seen drivers having about 45%, about 50% after 9 laps. So tyre saving will be needed, but it is very much possible to get those tyres to the end from now.
So, halfway through the race now, and plenty to report on. Safety car is out, we should get in this lap, assuming both Hasses can catch up in time. And it will be Bard Tsunami who takes us away. Andy is going to be absolutely livid with that, but we know how good he is at managing his battery. And it's going to be a test of Bard Tsunami's character to see how he can manage it to stay ahead.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the 2 Hasses to catch up now. P17, P18 both picking up damage early stage of this race. Both drivers being spun around at some point during this race as well. But this kind of gives them a little bit of a second chance to try and gain back whatever they've lost in this opening stint. But they are on the mediums actually, so they could gain a few places back, but they've got to drop off by the end of this race.
Well, I'll be thankful that they are back in this race in the first place. Ricky, Steve and Gix also, their blushes have been spared somewhat, as they can now start to get back in the mix. And the Hasses, are they purposely slowing up? I think we might get another lap here. I'm sure Chrisu will like that. No, we're not. Safety car is in this lap last second. I wish that happened at Silverstone this weekend, but no. Safety car is in this lap, and we are going to get 14 laps of racing left. So Bard Tsunami are waiting to go. About the final corner, we do go racing again here in Melbourne. The Bard Tsunami for TDR leads us away. He's followed by Andy, Boots and Jocelyn. Chrisu on those mediums, looking feisty. Jocelyn knows to the inside of the UFRC of Boots. Into turn 1 we go. Boots holds it round the outside, goes onto the grass and off the track, comes back on the track, and Chrisu on the outside takes P4, and now he's looking at Jocelyn in front, heading down towards turn 3, down the inside. Goes a Ferrari, breaks late, and now it's a switch back for the MGA to take P3 back. Contact to the back, there's a car going straight on. Ricky into the barriers, down in P18. Carnage at the restart, Tom Penguin P6. More battling in the mid-pack. Alex on the outside of Ted Head, heading down towards turn 6. And still on the outside, Wilson Wheel we go, goes up the track, trying to hold it. Kill now in hot pursuit, getting back in the mix, and it's absolute chaos at the restart.
Absolutely chaos, as you said there. Battles all over the field on the safety car restart as expected. Seeing drivers go, whoa, hang on a second here. Lorenzo getting all out, and it was 3 wide through that corner there, and that's just left Steve going sideways. Luckily no damage, but all the way back down to P17.
For the second time today, making sideways manoeuvres as Kill is all of a sudden back in the mix. He's into P10. Chrisu making contact with Jocelyn, now leaves him vulnerable to Ryan in P5. Penguins eyeing this battle up, trying to get ahead as well to make our way round the final corner. The top two have absolutely broken away. The Bard Tsunami and Andy barely separated as they set back-to-back fastest laps. Boots follows through on his own in P3, and behind, Ryan is ahead of Chrisu. Chrisu will look to get that position back, heading down towards turn 3. Can the Ferrari do what he did to his teammate Jocelyn and go down the inside? No, he can't. Torn Penguin, though, under pressure from Anton round the outside in the RB. Anton looking racy all of a sudden. RBs were dead last a few laps ago, and now Anton is up to P7. Brilliant stuff from him. Tedhead goes down to P9, as Glitz is all of a sudden also getting back in the mix in P11. So all the runners that you thought were out of this race are all of a sudden springing back into life.
Yeah, and it's been absolutely horrendous for the 2 Red Bull drivers of the Velox team. Lorenzo having a half spin, dropping down to P14, and Kill having a full spin and going all down to P17.
Fantastic racing for P6, I must say, as Andy eyes up Bard Tsunami for the lead, stays behind just for now. If we look into turn 10, it's carnage between these 4. Chrisu ahead, Torn Penguin having a look down the inside. Anton tries to get by. Tedhead now under pressure from ZX on the hard. Scorchy, who was dead last just a few laps ago, he's now P11, so he's up 6 positions since that restart on the medium tyres. Glix is following him through in P12 as Kill's race continues to get worse as he's now off into the grass and into the pit lane to compound his woes. And as we enter lap 18, hopefully a chance to catch our breath.
Oh, hopefully. There's a lot of random sounds I'm pulling out now. It's just, oh, there's another spinner. That's Alex as well.
Alex,
turn 2, Alex drops down to P16.
I'm not sure who helped him, but Alex all the way at the back now. I'm surprised Kill hasn't retired with how miserably his race has gone. Meanwhile, Andy continues to run with the Bard Tsunami, both burning their battery to stay ahead. And does Andy want the lead now? Heading through the middle sector, to the outside he goes. Can Andy take the lead down towards turn 9? We await the cars, and it is Andy who takes the lead. 2 lap older tyres, no problem with the better battery and faster pace. Andy, for now, has the lead back, and the Bard Tsunami will look to come back at him, but just stays behind for now. Thinks better of it. MJ Jocelyn still running P3, and the 2 UFRCs in P4 and 5. Ingo Ryan's got that penalty. More battling as we get down towards turn 10. ZX ahead of Tedhead. Heading into turn 11 now. So Tedhead just about staying ahead. Nicely done. Round the outside, ZX just behind as well, and Scorchy catching them back up. So I get the feeling there's a few different tyres and a few different paces of cars, which is going to lead to a lot of battling as we head into the final 10 laps.
Yeah, I think for now, Bard Tsunami will kind of want to stick behind a little bit with Andy out, and Alex has retired in the pit lane. It's another one gone. That is 4 gone in this race. But back onto Bard Tsunami. He's saving up a lot of battery. He's got the overtake as well. Maybe look to get the repass on Andy on this next straight. So we've got to wait and see what he could do. But he's going to start with the overtake button. Maybe try and close up as much as he can.
I think he might want it this lap because he's burning everything he's got. Back to the outside he goes of Andy. Andy's got a little extra though. He's not willing to fight for it just yet though, and the Bard Tsunami does retake the lead of the race. And these two just trading positions. It's not really allowing Jocelyn and Boots behind to catch up. Meanwhile, Tom Penguin on the hard tyres to the inside of Chris if he goes. He should theoretically have a slower tyres. That's not stopping him though. And the McLaren to the inside of Chrisu. He just has to stay behind. Gives him a little nudge for comfort as Anton now looks to find himself in the fight as well. Tedhead just ahead of ZX and Scorchy behind. So lots of mini trains through the final sector. Heading on to lap 20. If a battle for the lead though, it's only fought between 2, and it's going to be a showdown between TDR and TRS.
Yeah, obviously with the gap being as what it is now, it's kind of just settled into a 2-horse race, unless anything comes in these last 10 laps. But I'll wait and see. There's still room for a safety car. There's still room for mistakes. But these two out in front, we're hoping that does not happen.
Also, just note track limit penalties. It's 3 seconds for Ryan, Chrisu, and Tom. Anyone you see with a penalty has got 3 seconds, apart from Julian down in P15. So then 3 with penalties, that'll set them back behind Anton. Anton currently on for P5, as did I miss a battle for the lead? Yes, I did. Andy retaking it.
Yeah, it's just a simple overtake on the straight, really, but a change of the lead is a change for the lead in the day.
Sorry to interrupt. 3 wide we go for P6. Chrisu contact. Tom Penguin spins down the straight. Anton takes P6. Thank you very much, he says. Chrisu tumbles down to P7. Zedix now to the inside, takes P7. Chrisu down to P8. Tedhead finds himself still in P9, but Tom Penguin 3 wide with the RB and McLaren finds himself down to P12. And running outside of the final corner now goes Chrisu, trying to get back out of Zedix. It is still chaotic battling in this mid-pack.
Yeah, absolute carnage, but it was a brilliant move from Chrisu to then get back round the outside of the final corner of Z6. And it's absolute carnage, but maybe we've seen the medium tyres starting to hit the cliff a little bit.
Yeah, I think Chrisu, he's just very unlucky that he started on those hard tyres, and the mediums just, well, if they can go the distance, again, have lost a lot of pace by the end of it. And Zedix, who, keep in mind, was nowhere in this race at the start. He started P15, he's up to P8. Chrisu also up 7 positions, but obviously the biggest gainer is the Bard Tsunami, who still just about leads from Andy, but Andy is keeping him honest, as Zedix once again does battle with Chrisu, but this time prevailing, and we'll see for him if he can try and catch back up to Anton in P6.
Or Ted going for a very tight gap there, being squeezed all the way onto the grass, but gets the move of P8 on Chrisu, and he'll be setting his sights on the Zedix in front.
So, we haven't really mentioned the battle for P3 as well. Jocelyn still towing along both UFRTs. I think they're just happy to stay where they are for now. Anton's actually caught this fight up, and he does not have a penalty. So could Anton, who was at the back at the start of this race, find himself in the fight for the podium soon, as Tedhead starts to put pressure on Zedix as well. TDR aiming for a massive points haul as it stands. As down the inside goes Gix on Scorchy. Scorchy ghosts, and the Hats just stays ahead, but he's trying to get back into the points after his spin earlier on. But you can't keep your eyes off it. He's battling nearly every corner, no matter where you are on the track.
Yeah, and we could see probably another battle coming up as well. Tedhead obviously got the overtake on Zedzik, so we're going to see as he comes through the straight of Sector 2. Is he going to be close enough to go for a move? I don't believe he will do. He might save it for the second lot of straights.
Speaking of saving it for the second lot, Straight Boots is having a look at Jocelyn, but once again, still just content with staying behind, and Zedix did just enough to hold off this huge train of cars now. 7 cars he's got in this train, and they're all eyeing up that P7, but it is basically just a race of trains. Top 2, 3rd down to 6th, and then 7th all the way down to 13th.
And yeah, all this battling with P7 downwards is going to help out Rian Spencer a little bit as well, because with Rian having that 3 second, that gap opens up a lot more, then he could be safe from dropping into P7 and may only just settle for the P6.
So currently that would actually put him P6 just about, as Gix also got a penalty in the process. Steve does not have a penalty. He's found himself back up to P12, trying to get his MGA back into the points, as he's close to followed by Torn Penguin after that collision with Chrisu. Still the leaders, relatively spaced out. The Bard Tsunami maybe pulling away from Andy a little bit with those better tyres. The 2 UFRTs putting under pressure MGA, and they actually switch positions. So Ryan, maybe a bit of team play going on there. Do they want Ryan ahead so that he can build a bigger gap with his penalty? Well, no, they don't, because they're switching positions again. So interesting battery management from the UFRTs.
Unless it was a matter of fact of building that gap to Anton, because they managed to get it over a second briefly. So maybe swapping positions, using the driver that had the ERS to then swap positions. That's possibly an idea. We'll wait and see. As Torn Penguin's gone again.
Tom Penguin was going so well just a few laps ago, finds himself at the back in the gravel, and with a disastrous day at the office for him. His teammates still going well in P7 and holding off Tedhead for the time being, although he's not got very much battery, so Tedhead might find himself with P7 on the cards. To the inside he goes, and the TDR is up to P7. 1 and 7 sit TDR. That'd be a huge point haul for their outfit, especially since they didn't have a good race in Japan, as they're still battling through turn 4. Gix finally gets out of Scorchy, and he is now up into the top 10.
Yeah, unfortunately as well, Ryan Spencer picked up another 3 seconds. That's 6 now for the UFRT driver. And that is probably going to drop him all the way down to 8th after this race.
Yeah, so that now leaves Boots and Jocelyn to battle for the podium. Ryan will just try and hope these guys will battle behind, and they are, because ZX is having a look at Chrisu. Chrisu takes back the position up to P8, and now they've got the 2 behind to contend with. ZX retaking P8 now. Glitz is trying to get ahead as well. As we make our way down towards turn 12, just single file they maintain. Gives him a little love tap, the Audi. Into turn 13 we go now. And just has to sit behind. So it's Jocelyn versus Boots for P3. Andy, I would say this is a fight, but the Bard Tsunami's fresher tyres may be starting to prevail in the fight for the lead.
Yeah, we can't count out the finishing order yet. Can't count out Anton either for the podium spots. Oh, actually, what it was?
Yeah, it's been a collision. I think this time between Steve and Scorchy. Steve's lost a lot of time. Scorchy stumbled to P14, and more contact as Chris, who has retired. Gix is in the wall. And
that's a retirement on track for Chris as well.
I think that is a retirement on track. Gix is in the wall, so his race, which looked to be recovering, is now gone again. And we now only have 14 runners left in this race.
Yeah, Steve's got another lot of damage. Probably end up carrying that to the end of this race. I don't see him pitting again. So, yeah, it's difficult for him. It's been a very difficult race. He was up in the highs of probably P4, maybe P3 at a time at the start of this race. And now settling for P10 with damage as well. I'm pretty going to drop back even further.
So there's only now 8 runners left in the somewhat leading train, as Gix gets another penalty to add to his woes. So ZX putting pressure on Tedhead for P7. That is a 2-way fight. Then it's a 4-way fight for the podium, although realistically that is 3 because of Ryan Spencer's penalty. And Andy is just about clinging on to the overtake of a Bard Tsunami, but whether he can get close enough in these next 3 laps for an overtake, we get to find out. Meanwhile, Boots finally makes his move on Jocelyn, and he now takes P3, but they're nudging wheels into turn 5, and round the outside goes Ryan now trying to get ahead, but Boots is trying to back him up to let his teammate get by. Anton's looking at this and decides to close up as well. They make their way down the straight, nearly contact as the Mercedes is boxed in by the Astons. More contact made. On the outside is Jocelyn taking back the position. The UFRT's run out of battery, and Ryan now in P4 trying to get it back but can't quite, and Jocelyn somehow holds on to his podium position.
Yeah, absolute carnage. Boots going for the move in sector 1 used up pretty much all of his battery, which meant he had nothing, which then ended up
and on the grass went Ryan. To avoid contact goes a spinning Anton, and that allows ZX and Tedhead to get up into 6th and 7th. But yeah, Ryan just going on the grass on the entry sent him wide. Anton had to weave out of the way in avoidance, and for the RB, he was doing so well, he tumbles back down. Ryan's lost a lot of ground. That's going to put him behind ZX and Tedhead as it stands, but now that just leaves Boots and Jocelyn's battle out.
Yeah, it's still carnage ending off this race. We've still got 3 laps to go yet. With only 13 runners left in this race. I believe everyone gets points. I believe the point system got changed to add in for the extra 2 drivers with the Team Cadillac coming in. So I'm not too sure what the point system is now, but I believe every single driver gets points in this race.
Right, well, as if you didn't need any more spice, Andy has started to reel back in the Bard Tsunami. He may have 2-lap older tyres, but he's not letting that TDR get away. And Andy, who you could pretty easily say has been the fastest man all weekend, is trying to reclaim that victory as Tedhead takes P6 off of ZX. that would be P5 with Ryan's penalty as it stands. So imagine 2 TDRs in the top 5. What a result that would be. But the other fight to keep an eye on is who will be on the podium. Will it be MGA or will it be UFRC? Still so much to decide as we head on to the penultimate lap of this race.
Yeah, still got the battle for, like I said, battle for P3. That's still on. The battle for the lead is still on, and obviously the battle for P5 as well is still going to be raging on. Ted Head almost getting into within that 1 second. He's actually within that 1 second now. Rian with that time penalty. Zig as well, just sitting quite behind. So a few little battles going on. Other than the top 7, nothing else is really happening.
Well, this whole top 7 has got so much to decide. Ryan has actually dragged Ted Head back towards Boots and Jocelyn. So could Ted Head and ZX still challenge Jocelyn and Boots heading on to this final lap if they battle too much? But that time when Andy was sat behind just about a second, did we think no, he was falling back a little bit? He just didn't have the pace. Maybe he was just saving his tyres, saving his battery, and now he's ready for one last attack as Boots does now take P3 off of Jocelyn, so he'll have the lead heading into the final lap in that podium fight. But it is the Bard Tsunami versus Andy. Andy is not ready to give this win up yet.
No, not at all. So we've still got the final lap here. I think Andy wants to wait to have the overtake for this final lap and get the move done then, which obviously is not a bad strat to use because he's going to have the extra power over the Williams. So could we see an overtake on this final lap for Andy to take away this race win?
I just want to say, Andy, if you look at the battery, he's got 30% more. So Andy managing his battery to perfection. As we head down the back straight, this could be his. Ryan has closed back up to Jocelyn, so maybe he can try and help his teammate out. But as we make our way onto the back straight, it seems like Andy may have the advantage. So, for the last time, we come out of turn 6. It's a nice exit for Bard Tsunami. It's also a nice exit for Andy. Jocelyn and Boots changing positions. Can Andy get close enough for the lead of this race on the final lap? Gaining on the TDR. To the outside he goes. Moves late Bard Tsunami. Not late enough because spinning goes the Bard Tsunami into the wall. Crashes through the chicane. Andy takes the lead and surely the win now as the Bard Tsunami tumbles down out of contention. Jocelyn is still ahead of Boots and is on for P3 behind his Ted Head ahead of ZX, but he's coming back ZX to the inside of turn 10 now. Down the inside goes the McLaren and now he spins and Ted Head just about hangs on. But Andy, 2 lap older tyres, he got pole by a massive margin and he's now going to win by a margin. With a final lap pass, Andy wins the Australian Grand Prix. The Bard Tsunami will be absolutely gutted. Coming out the final corner, we see the 3 battling for the podium. Jocelyn is ahead of Boots, ahead of Ryan, and Ted and ZX will be promoted up to 5th and 6th, and Ryan will have to settle for P7. What a final lap, and what a win for TRS.
Honestly, I was watching Boots and Jocelyn on that final lap. We could possibly see a little bit of dramas afterwards. Boots around the outside, Jocelyn leaving absolutely no space and pushing Boots onto the grass. So that could be something to look back on. But it is Jocelyn holding off for P3 and Boots in P4.
So yeah, disaster for those at the back. I mean, they'll still score some points. The likes of Penguin, Steve. Gix can't even score points because he's retired, sadly for him. But still a big points haul for TDR. Also a decent points haul for UFRT. But Andy, you got to say, he hasn't not deserved it this weekend. He got pole by a massive margin. Was unlucky with the safety car to lose the lead. But even with 2 lap older tyres, he kept the pressure on the Bard Tsunami. And when it came to the final lap, he held his nerve while the Bard Tsunami span. And TDR just didn't have enough for Andy today.
My loading screens are not showing up, so that's brilliant.
Well, for us, we see the Alpine of Andy celebrating. The Barton probably happy with a P2 considering he started P10, but it'll always be lingering at the back of his mind what could have been. And MGA, after all they went through, I think we wouldn't mind a podium, although given the stewards' verdicts afterwards, we may see that change, so keep an eye on that room. But any closing thoughts? It was a spectacular race, especially since the safety car restart, battling every lap, crashes, carnage, everything you would want. And is there any last report you need to mention?
Nothing really. Obviously after that first restart, log restart we had to do, obviously that's kind of put us a little bit behind schedule. Um, but obviously nothing we could do about with the game glitches. But it all turned out well with the battles that we ended up getting. Managed to make it to the end eventually, so I think we could take that as a pretty successful evening.
Yeah, despite the disconnects and issues regarding connection, that was still a enthralling race and very well won by TSR of Andy. And TDR will have to come back fighting next weekend if they are to beat them. But a spectacular race in Melbourne. Crashes, battles, and everything you would want in a race. But be sure to join us next week for F1 in Spain. But from all of us tonight in EFES this week at Melbourne, that has been all. Goodbye.